Hey, Carbo Brotherhood. I'm Chris Nelson, President at Carbo, and I'm excited to tell you about the Remington 870, 1187, and 1100 trigger spring kit for your Remington shotguns. It works for a wide variety of shotguns. For the Remingtons, they use a lot of the same trigger assemblies in most of their shotguns. Even works for the H&R partner pumps, which are 870 clones. We'll get into that when we get over the tabletop. But what I want to tell you, for 15 minutes and less than 15 bucks, you can get yourself almost a 2-pound trigger pull reduction on your Remington shotgun. You can't beat that. The other thing I want to say is our 100% lifetime, no hassle guarantee. If you don't like it, just send it back. We'll take it back and give you your money back. No questions asked. All parts made in America, veteran-owned and operated company. If you're not part of the Carbo Brotherhood yet, get on Facebook, join the group. We'd love to chat with you. There's a lot of guys sharing resources. Let's go to the tabletop. All right, guys, so here it is, your Remington 870, 1187, and 1100 trigger spring kit by Carbo, which is a custom-designed sear spring for your Remington trigger assembly. Now, these trigger assemblies are universal in a lot of their firearms, which is handy, considering we can use this spring kit in a variety of different models. Name it. So the Remington 870, 1187, 1100, of course. Also the rimfire rifles, the 552, 572, and their centerfire rifles, the 750, 7400, and 7600. So the Remington 870, 1187, and 1100, this one here. Now it'll also work with all gauges, 12 gauge, 16 gauge, 20 gauge, 28 gauge, and even 410 bore. All right, let's jump into this installation. Before we get started, let's go ahead and check our shotguns, make sure they're clear. Check the chamber, check the bolt face, check the magazine tube. You can see that orange follower down there, we're clear. First, let's see what kind of trigger pull we're starting with. 5 pounds, 3.5 ounces. Let's take one more to confirm. 5 pounds, 5.5 ounces. Parts and tools needed for this build: the Remington 870, 1187, 1100 trigger spring kit by Carbo. Also works with a wide variety of other firearms, even including the H&R partner pump 870 clone. Take a look at the website for more details. 1/8 inch punch, flathead screwdriver, small hammer, block of wood with a hole in it, and as always, guys, make sure you're wearing eye-pro. Now go ahead and orient your shotgun like so, ejection port side facing up, and go ahead and place your shotgun on safe. If the hammer drops during the disassembly, it'll cause more problems. So then you'll take your 1/8 inch punch, go ahead and remove this rear trigger assembly pin. Notice that it's actually larger. We'll just set that aside. Now we'll go ahead and remove the front trigger assembly pin, the smaller of the two in diameter. Okay. Now go ahead and pull up and out on the trigger assembly. Now we're going to take a quick look. Here's your hammer, here's your sear, here's your sear spring, and this is your disconnector over here. Now we're going to go ahead and lock the hammer in the cock position, and then we're going to remove the stock factory spring. Now you can do one or two things. You can either just pull back on the spring, it'll pop right out, no problem, or you can use your flathead screwdriver and pry it out. You know, whatever you want to do. Just be careful, this thing will go flying. Alright, so just pry it right out like that. Very simple. Now let's go ahead and grab our Carbo custom sear spring for our Remington shotguns and rimfire rifles and centerfire rifles. Pretty amazing how universal this kit is. Okay, there it is. Let's compare them side by side real quick. See how much more springy the Carbo spring is here. Alright, let's go ahead and swap them out. So put the Carbo sear spring in. It's pretty easy. There, the connector right here. And then your sears right here. So we're going to just position it just like so. And it's a nice, weaker spring tension, so it easily pops right in there. So we can kind of test it real quick. Feels good. Alright, so we want to go ahead and keep the hammer locked. Go ahead and put the safety back on, and we're going to drop this trigger assembly back in now. You've got a moment to clean it if you want. Go ahead and spray it down. I wouldn't get crazy with trying to mess with any of the linkage. Now we're going to go ahead and drop our trigger assembly back into our Remington shotgun. Just make sure that your hammer is cocked and that the trigger assembly is on safe. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and turn the receiver upright. Go ahead and drop our trigger assembly in. Rear side first. Get it into that little corner there. So push on the pin bushings because they're going to kind of stick out and they're going to try to grab the side of the receiver as it's going back in. Also the disconnector, you're going to have to keep an eye on that and just kind of push it back in. So you're just carefully massaging that linkage back in. Now you're going to likely get to this point where that little tab, the disconnector, is going to want to stick out on you. Just take your punch and just gently push it back in, and then push down on the trigger guard. And then it is plastic, so you really don't want to hammer it. So what I would do is just kind of massage it in there, and you can see it's a little tweaked here, so it wants to kind of go that direction. So we're just going to put a little pressure on it and then drop it right in. All right, there we go. Now we just want to make sure we get the holes lined up and put the pins back in appropriately. So the big pin in diameter goes in the rear hole here. Okay, tap that in. And then the narrow pin goes in the front. Now that we finished the installation, let's do a quick function check to make sure we're still good. So go ahead and charge it. All right, place the weapon on safe. Pull the trigger, nothing, good. Go ahead and place it on fire. Nice. All right, let's test this trigger pull. Now let's see what kind of modified trigger pull we've got. 3 pounds, 5.6 ounces. Now that's more like it. Let's take one more to confirm. 3 pounds, 11.2 ounces. There you have it, guys. 5.5 pounds down to 3.5 pounds, roughly a 2-pound trigger pull adjustment, putting you in the high performance sweet spot. Not to mention $15 or less, 15 minutes or less, giving you a 2-pound trigger pull adjustment. Not bad. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Carbo Brotherhood, for your continued support. And as always, happy shooting.